the good to have components and what are some of the things which you can ignore for now. I think that understanding, if you can build, that would be very helpful. I am a live example of being in data science field, and I'm not from CS background. I'm from electrical and electronics background. I think you pick up the stuff that is required along the way in order to learn and succeed in that field. Yeah, next question is, what is the career progression for a data scientist? I think great question again. It depends company to company. For a startup, it might be different versus a more established technical company or service-based company. It might be different. But I can give you a general overview based on my experience so far in different companies. I've worked in product company. I've worked in service-based company as well. Now I'm working in a consulting company. So it it varies, but typically you start somewhere as a associate data scientist, right? Or from associate data science, you move on to senior associate data science after a couple of years or 3 years, based on how one performs. From senior associate data science, we move on to either team lead, right? You generally start leading a team of data scientists. From there on, you become manager data science or senior manager data science. From there on, you become associate director data science, director data science, and typically then you move into either more business facing roles or technical side of things. So you can become and every company would have their own structures, but I think I would like to keep it till director, because from there on it depends how company operates on senior levels. What's the starting salary for data scientist in India? Again, would be tricky to answer because it depends on geography. It depends on the company to company basis. It depends what kind of business model they have, right? Some of them have a lot of data scientists. Some companies use very few, but yeah, they are there for specific roles. I think it's at par with your any other skill set like data engineering, right? Your UI experts. So I wouldn't like to quote any number as such. I think it's decent, and I think one I would like to give an example here, right? Like same, it's not about how much company pays you. It's all about how much you can develop yourself so that you can get paid enough. So the same company might pay 1 lakh to to a person or an employee, and the same company might pay 10 crores to another employee in the same company. So the company has enough resources or sufficient amount of money to pay to the employees, but the question is what sort of value add we bring in the company. So start asking what sort of skills I can develop in the next few years down the lane that my market value increases, right? So you have to start seeing your impact getting created through the platform you are using or the company you are in. You have to focus on the skill sets that you can develop and apply so that you get paid or compensated according to the market rate. Yeah. Where do you hire data scientists from, and can a PM do that role in early days? So typically, for Bain and Company in India, we go to premium institutes like IITs for hiring, but for lateral, we do look at what sort of experience people have in different fields. Like you might hire for an financial services expert in data science, might hire for a retail expert in data science. So it depends. We look for very specific experience and the skill set that one brings on the board. And the question is, can a PM do that role in early days? So, in my understanding, product manager has a very specific role where they have to sort of own the product development, right? And you have to define the entire uh, timelines and entire requirements of the product. Sometimes product managers might not be very close to data and the ETL and all those architectural components. Hence, it depends what sort of background the PM has, and if they are ready to scale up or venture into the data science territory. Again, depends. Sometimes in startups, there are dual responsibilities because of the small group size, but in more established companies or big companies, you would typically don't see such an overlap. Yeah. So I missed one question. There was a question on tips on data collection and enrichment for startups. Interesting one. Now, there are a lot of vendors, right, which their whole business model is collecting data and providing it to other companies, which then can use it for whatever purpose they want, right? And I think again there's a cost element to it because you need to save this data, you need to process it somewhere, and there's a cost associated to it. Hence, you can always seek these data providers who can provide you this data, or if you are planning to collect it on your own, it depends what sort of app or what sort of medium or mode you have in order to collect these data points. You either have a tie-up with these product companies, or so that you can collect or gather data for their customers. And other is enrichment for startups. Like it's more again, like depending on what use case you're solving for, right? Whether there's a need for enrichment of the data, or you want to leverage the external data. Because what I've seen in my experience, there's a wish list that we'll use this data, we'll use this. But when it comes we talk about the practicality aspect of it on the ground, it's very hard or difficult to integrate these different data points. You sometimes it's very difficult to apply or sort of link both these internal and external data sets sometimes, and it can throw your analysis for a toss. Hence, one should be very careful what sort of data we are onboarding for our analysis. And yeah, I mean, in some cases, external data do make absolute sense, and it provides a lot of enrichment and value add to the final analysis. But overall, it's pretty tricky to use external data. What can you expect in an interview for a data scientist role? Yeah, I've been taking interviews for last 5 6 years now for data science, and I can't speak for everyone here, but in my view, again, you can expect some Python based questions around maybe a quick Python code to build a function that solves something. So that shows how comfortable you are with Python. That's one. Second could be just trying to understand what was the last business problem or interesting business problem that you solved using machine learning, or what component of machine learning you ended up using in your last project, or whichever sort of initiative or project that you took, right? And so yeah, that's one application of machine learning to solve business problem. Third is how did you communicate those results, right? That's also very important, because you have to weave in the narrative. Ultimately, you want to share these results with the stakeholders, and those might be business problem business people. Hence, you need to showcase how you build your story. How did you take those technical results interpretation into a much more simpler form that everyone was able to consume those and apply those? So these three are critical components. You can be then asked about some techniques, like some of the algorithms, some fundamentals, and yeah, why you are interested in data science in first place. That is also a very, very common question. Can we get knowledge about data scientists but studying the topics on our own, or MS in DS is preferred? Yeah, I mean, external degree or certification, as I mentioned, definitely adds value. It gives you a good perspective and a foundation to launch your career, but it's not a must, I would say. The reason is they're not going to teach you something entirely different. They're going to teach you similar kind of workflows, similar kind of data sets. Then you apply some techniques and see the results. So until and unless you see a clearly sort of realized value coming out of it, I think you have to think through, because you are committing a couple of years or 1 year to that certification or the course, as well as there's this money involved. So I think it depends how much time you're willing to give yourself in order to get into the field. But definitely it opens up a lot of doors. And if you're doing it from a recognized institute or university, you definitely can leverage the brand. Hence, but I've seen in my career, in there are a lot of examples who sort of work from on the sort of from very basic level. They have not done these courses, but still they are damn good. They are so good that you give them a business problem, they would iterate through it, they would apply the right techniques and solve like mind-boggling problems as well. So yeah, I mean, it's good to have, and but not mandatory in my view. All right, we are almost at time, so I'll take one more last question. Did I miss any other question? No. Is it hard to get jobs in US companies? Uh, Not if you're good. I mean, every company is looking for good talent, and like I said, you you have to develop the skills which are relevant and which you can apply in that context. So you can definitely crack the interviews for all the good companies, and irrespective of the location, as long as you are sort of matching the requirements, your skill sets are relevant, and you have the right experience. I don't think it's impossible. Cool. uh, Thank you very much. It was great interacting with all of you. And like I said, you can hit me up on LinkedIn. Happy to answer any questions. Okay, have a good day. Thank you.